Okay, let's go a little bit more in detail on the functions of the pancreas, okay? So actually only 2% of the tissue in the pancreas is composed by alpha beta cells, so endocrine cells which secrete insulin and glucagon into the bloodstream. But the percentage is not everything. This 2% is vitally important for the survival of the organism. Most of it, over 90% of the organ, has an exocrine function because it has produced large quantities of this digestive slime. Okay. So this solution of digestive enzymes, bicarbonate, and water. So this enzyme-rich fluid is produced by the acinar cells, collected into the pancreatic duct, and secreted into the duodenum. This fluid is rich, as I said, in bicarbonate. The pH is slightly alkaline, so it's just above, well, not just above, it's 1 point of pH above neutrality. And that helps neutralizing the the acidity of the chyme, which comes directly from the stomach into the small intestine. These enzyme, the digestive enzyme-rich fluid leads to the complete digestion of carbohydrate, proteins, and fats into monosaccharides, amino acids, and glycerol and fatty acids. Okay, so this is the last step of the chemical digestion of the macronutrients that we eat. The pancreas secretes around 1.5 liters of digestive fluid per day. It is by far the gland with the highest rate of protein synthesis in the body, more than any other organ in the body. It produces more than 20 different proteins, most of which are different digestive enzymes. And then within the pancreatic parenchyma, there are these islets known as islets of Langerhans or pancreatic islets, which are composed by alpha cells and beta cells, which are endocrine cells, which release hormones such as insulin and glucagon into the plasma, into the bloodstream. And you know already everything about insulin and glucagon. They have the role to control the blood glucose levels. So the exocrine cells, also known as acinar cells, acinus means in Latin, how do you say it in English? I don't know the word in English, but one globe of grape, yeah? Grape has, like the single thing that you detach and you eat, right? That's an acino. In Italian, we call it acino d'uva. So the acinus is the single grape, basically, right? And in fact, it has this kind of round shape, okay? So the acinar cells are the cells which compose the pancreatic acini, okay? And these cells produce large quantities of proteins. They have, rough endoplasmic reticulum and several granules with an apical pole. The apical pole is the one that secretes enzymes and the various zymogens required for digestion. But they also secrete isotonic fluid, which is rich in chloride. The duct cells are the epithelial cells that line the pancreatic duct. They are not just lining cells. Actually, the duct cells are the ones that secrete the bicarbonate and that make the pancreatic digestive enzyme-rich fluid alkaline and rich in bicarbonate. So here there are some of the enzymes which are secreted by the pancreas. We have trypsin, chymotrypsin, elastase, and carboxypeptidase. These are all proteases. So trypsin is an enteropeptidase which cleaves the amino acids within the primary sequence of amino acids. Yeah, so a protein has an amino term, a carboxy term, and the amino acids that are in the middle, right? Trypsin hits the amino acids in the middle. Chymotrypsin also cleaves the internal peptide bonds. Also, elastase cleaves the internal peptide bonds. Carboxypeptidase doesn't. Carboxypeptidase is still, a protease, but cleaves the peptides at the carboxy terminal of the protein. The amylase digests starch, so it digests, the polysaccharide starch into monosaccharides. The lipase cleaves the triglycerides and deacylglycerides into glycerol and fatty acids. The colipase binds to the micelles and relieves the lipase from the inhibition of the bile salts. So it helps lipase to carry out its work. And then, of course, we've got several DNases and RNases which cleave RNA and DNA, which are, in any case, contained in food. Okay, so this is pretty much it on this first part of the GI tract. We do have the large intestine standing out, which I will talk about in the next lecture. So I would like to go through a little bit of a summary of what we've been talking about in these two lectures. So the major functions of the GI tract is digestion and absorption of nutrients. So there are four major activities in the digestive tract, which you need to know which ones they are. All these functions are tightly regulated by neuronal, endocrine, and paracrine hormonal processes. And, there are in different parts of the GI tract, specialized structures, different cell types, and specific secretions, which ensure that the GI tract functions correctly. Here you can find some references. So, of course, the Pocock book is always a good go-to point for anything that has to do with human physiology. Also the Costanzo textbook of physiology, and of course the in-text references. Here you can test yourself with some study questions. Try to give it your best answer, yeah, and see if you did right by going through the lecture and finding the answer. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and I'm going to see you at the next one on the large intestine. Thank you very much and goodbye.